Well, hey there. Welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If you are brand new to my channel, yay, you found me. I'm so glad. I've been waiting for you. And if you are a subscriber, thank you for coming back. As you know, my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a specific film. So the specific film I'm reviewing today is called Transformers: The Rise of the Beast. This action sequel to the very popular franchise by Paramount Pictures is now playing in theaters. It is rated PG-13 and is 2 hours and 7 minutes long. The Movie Review Mom grade I'm giving it is a B+. Now, let me explain. I know it's rare for film critics to give their review score or grade before they've even explained anything. So keep watching and I'll tell you why. First, I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, funny lines, and even recommendations for other films that are similar that you should definitely watch if you like this one, or you might even like it better than this one. All right, here's a quick overview in a nutshell. Stephen Caple Jr. directs this 7th edition to the Transformers franchise. What happened to Michael Bay? Exactly. Writing credits go to Joby Harold, Darnell Metayer, Josh Peters, Eric Hober, and John Hover. So what's this story about? Well, you may have seen it before. During the 90s, a new faction of Transformers, the Maximals, joined the Autobots as allies in the battle for Earth. So here are some of the things that I really liked about this movie. The cast is fantastic and includes Anthony Ramos. I love Anthony Ramos. You probably do too. And for me, that's kind of what saved this movie. Ron Perlman is a voice of one of the robots. Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh is also the voice of a new robot. Pete Davidson is the voice of an awesome robot who stills the scenes that he's in. Dominique Fishback she plays an actual live person, and young Dean Scott Vasquez, among many others in the cast. So the lead characters' stories immediately make you want to root for them. They seem like good people, and you're like, yeah, let's do this. The emotional connection between the Transformers and the humans is also significant and works well. You get action from the very first scene and plenty more later on. There are very impressive set pieces, lots of humor. Now, not all of it lands, but I appreciated the effort because they really were trying. Now, a few times they were trying too hard to be too cool. But for the most part, I would smile or chuckle. There is some poppin' music in this one, and we get to go to Peru. So the luscious green landscapes mixed with these terraced stones and wide fields with beautiful grass make for the perfect backdrop and setting for more battle sequences and something different, right? Throw in a little bit of Inca legend, and now we've got kind of a magical story with some more depth to it. If you've ever seen the TV series Beast Wars, Transformers back from 1996, then you'll recognize the Maximals, as they're called, who can turn or transform into animals. And isn't it convenient that they transform into Earth animals? They're pretty cool looking though. Optimus Prime is a 1987 Freightliner FLA semi-truck in this movie, in case you were wondering. There are some new entertaining robots that are immediately likable. And shout out to New York City Grit. Compared to director Michael Bay's Transformer movies that had dizzying, grinding action sequences that were too close up to see well, was, well, more like that, right? With all the grinding action. I thought that the direction of this film was much better. I could actually see what was happening. The last few Transformer movies were real stinkers, unfortunately, but this one worked cliched as it was. The CGI is very good. We get a lot of different Transformers, and the ending lets you know that you're not going to have to wait too long for a sequel to this story. Yep, the Transformers franchise is not dead. All right, so now with all of that praise, there were some things I didn't like or just thought could have been done better. For example, because they have to keep reinventing worlds and robots, there is necessarily a lot of exposition so that the audience can understand what's going on. So much explaining. It always makes me laugh when the Transformers have these massive battles out in the open, with lots of destruction and noise and explosions, yet no other humans hear or see anything, at least in this movie. Now, granted, some of it takes place out in Peru, but where there really is nobody out there in the mountains. But when they're in town, I'm just like, come on, nobody heard that. The plot is extremely simple, sandwiched by lots of battles and destruction. Some of the story details are filled with predictable tropes, and others just don't even make sense. But try not to overthink a whole lot, and then you'll enjoy the movie just fine. So if you don't like Transformers movies to begin with, don't bother with this one. Some fans are loving this new edition, but it's probably not going to convince you otherwise. And honestly, we've seen this before. And if you didn't like the ones before, then you're not going to like this one. There's a short scene with Dominic Fishback when she starts to sing. She's on an airplane and she's sitting right next to Anthony Ramos, who has an incredible voice. And so I was really hoping that he was going to start singing along with her, but he doesn't. It's such a missed opportunity. I absolutely loved him, who didn't, in Hamilton. But have you seen the musical In the Heights? I loved him in that one as well. Definitely check out that movie if you're a fan. And if this is the first time you've seen him, check out In the Heights and you will be super impressed with how talented he is. And then finally, we had first Optimus Prime. And in this movie, we still have him, but we also have Optimus Primal, who's this big gorilla. And I'm like, seriously, they couldn't think of another name. So it felt like a lot of the first Transformers movie, but without the novelty of the first Transformers movie, if you know what I mean. All right, now let me give you some tips for parents because your kids are probably going to be interested in this. A mother swears and her son scolds her saying language. So I like that. There is some additional mild profanity, but not very much at all, which was great. There is some Spanish spoken with subtitles. One of the lines in Spanish is a little crude, but if your kids don't speak Spanish, then they won't know. Lots of destruction, lots of violence, lots of fighting. I mean, it's a Transformers movie. People and creatures are in dangerous situations. And then we learn that a boy has sickle cell. So if you're watching this with your kids, you might need to explain what that is. Some of the themes that are highlighted and illustrated very well are teamwork, specifically. That theme comes through very loud and clearly. Family, sacrifice, hope, never giving up, and believing in something greater than yourself. I really liked that. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines just so that I can share them with you so you can get a taste for the dialogue and the script writing. You can see them all on my written review at moviereviewmom.com as well. And so one of the funny lines is when Elena is running away from these robots towards the very beginning of the movie, first time she sees them, right? She's played by Dominic Fishback. And she says, "Stop following me." And then Anthony Ramos is running away too. And he's like, "I'm not following you. I'm escaping in the same direction." And I thought that was kind of cute. And then there are actually quite a few interesting lines or more profound lines. I'll share some of those with you. Elena says, "If you keep your eyes and ears open, life will show you what you need to know. And that's a lesson that one character in particular needs to learn, but it's a good reminder for all of us. And then Optimus Prime says, in his wisdom, evil can never be vanquished forever. In other words, sequel. And then another line that he says is, together we might just have a chance. All right, so before I go, let me give you some recommendations for two movies you definitely should see. The first one being the very first Transformers movie back in 2007 with Michael Bay and all of his Hollywood epic blockbusterness. It was great because it was the first of its kind. And I think everybody loved it so much, which is why we keep having more. And then another one of the Transformers that everyone really seemed to relate to is Bumblebee, because it really had a lot of heart. Not that the other ones didn't as much, but there was something really special with Haley Steinfeld in that movie. All right, thank you for spending the few minutes with me as I talked about this film. I think you're going to enjoy this movie if you like the franchise. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite part was, and I will catch you in the next movie review. Bye for now.